Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto became Kagaya's chosen god and awakened her forbidden empress desire? Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Once hero always be a hero. Ruin. Everything as far as eyes can see, is destroyed, like the Titan itself decide to stomping around without any care. The earth itself charred, smoke can be seen still coming from it, like the meteors just decide to come down, if some giant craters that can be seen around is enough for proof. None of nature life is seen for miles, as the trees around now is nothing but a splinter and dust. Big, jagged rock is their replacement, with each as big enough to stab through 5 to 6 adult men. Even the sky above itself is darkened, as if it was the spectator of what happened below it, though it was obviously an angry spectator, if the lightning crackles are any indication. In the middle of this chaos, two creatures hovering. One was a tall woman, reaching 2 meters in height, with her attire as that of loose, huge kimono with Magatama symbols, covering her whole body, from neck to feet. Her skin is white, so white that it can be compared with a cloud thyself. Same with like her hairs and eyes, though for the latter, there are a third eye right in the middle of her forehead, red in color, with 7 rings, in between of these rings, Tomo symbol can be seen moving hypnotically. This woman, currently giving out cold, dark, and gloomy aura that can make any human, even gods trembles in fear. As for the second creature, he is a total opposite of the woman across from him, with his appearance alone is likely of that of miniature sun, with his golden lock flutter from the winds hitting his person, same like his robe that glowing gold like a fire. Across his body, seals marking in Magatama symbols can be seen, with the exception is the symbol of white sun on his right back hand and symbol of black crescent moon on his left back hand. Hovering behind him, is 10 black balls of pure destruction. At one glance alone, any sane being would take a conclusion that he is a deity that descend to earth. Though a glance to his whiskered face and cross-shaped eyes that still filled with kindness, he is by far only a 16-year-old teen. Currently, the woman and the teen just stared at each other, one visibly did not even tired while the other already panting hard, his supposed slight tan skin tone become paler and paler in each second, even his horns, from some of his hair bangs slowly going down. How? Through gritted teeth, that was the only thought that crossed the teen mind. As far as he can remember, the golden, surrounded teen realizes that he already fought the goddess in front of him for 7 straight days, without any rest, eat, or any drinks nonetheless, and as much as the other called him a stamina freak, he knew that his body cannot handle the strain on it anymore. He wants to joke. To say that this is what happened if he didn't eat any ramen for long times, a week no ramen is long to him, no matter what the other side, but he knows he can't, not with his current situation. 7 days ago, he just finished battling again the one that can massacre all humanity easily, the one that can call forth meteor with simple hand signs, and the one call himself as God and can get away from it because his power is truly like that of a god. The golden-haired teen was not battling against that man alone obviously, as he does it along with thousands upon thousands shinobi that ready to die. And die they were, again so-called god, thousands easily become hundreds and just as the fight almost won by their alliance. It happens. A massive will-given conscious called Black Zetsu suddenly appear and stab the god through his heart, but not only killing. That movement surprisingly makes the god of man suddenly transformed into the mother of all chakra, Kagaya Otsutsuki. Her will crushed the man's easily as she then gains control, and lived again after sealed for thousands of years. After it, everything turned downward, with Kagaya immediately activates Mugen Tsukiyomi and trapped every living being in eternal illusion. The one still awakens through this is only the teen and his best friend Sasuke. So they battled again her. On the way they gain a boost of power in shape of Sage of the 6th-path chakra, their ancestor. Alas, that hope is merely a groundless hope as at first, their mental helper, which is their ancestor, the exalted sage of the sixth path gone cause his energy to stay in mortal world already used up. His last message is simple. To seal my mother, Kagaya, you two must touch her by both seals of yin and yang that on your hands respectively. Easy, right? No. To connect even one technique to her alone, the chance is 1 in 1,000, didn't care even the technique itself powerful enough to blow the big chunk of earth with one shoot. This, make the current sight possible, with Sasuke Uchiha, died first from the ash-killing bone through his stomach. His body and souls destroyed within seconds. But that seconds, is enough for Sasuke to send yin part of Sage of the Sixth Path Chakra to his best friend, thus the symbol of crescent moon on his left hand. Despite another power boost though, it's as if Kagaya herself is playing with him, because since he got the moon seal, not even once he can touch her, as they just trading technique from afar. Fortunately, after the 4th days, the teen's success at cutting one of the woman's sleeved hand, as he did not wasted time to kill Black Zetsu within. Its screams for its mother help did not deter the teen from stabbing it through with katana made of truth-seeking ball. Kagaya herself did not even blink as she just regenerate her hand and kimono sleeve, much to the teen hidden grim. I think I know the problem now, Naruto. Come a dark gruff voice from the back of teen, now called Naruto head, though it didn't make him scared at all. What it is, Kurama. He is tired, both body and soul. Naruto knew this, so that's why any plan for him now is very much appreciated. It's because you are not fully grasping at what your Uchiha friend give to you. As much as Naruto want to angry at the visibly jab given to him, then blonde know that now is not the time, so he just silent, waiting for Kurama to finish his explanation. What I want to say is, what he gave to you is not simply the seal of yin and dad chakra, but everything. Kurama loud sigh can be heard inside Naruto mindscape. Sometimes, the nine-tailed fox really questioned on how Naruto's still alive till now with that dense brain of his. It really creates a new way of saying, ignorance is blessing. Okay then Kurama. But how can I do that? At first, Kurama nodded sagely after seeing the blonde understand fast, but then loud smacking can be heard across the mindscape as Kurama slapped its own forehead after the blonde's second sentence. Ignorance is blessing, it great furry but, for it, the great Kurama it was the greatest curse. Just try to sense it yourself. Kurama is not mad, of course he is not, he is after all, already grown up, unlike Naruto that's still in baby age. For Kurama it definitely did not mad at all, merely irritated. Yes, that's the word, irritated. Come on Kurama. Geez, you don't need to sulk, I try it. Kurama eyebrow twitched here, his bunny-like ears followed a little, and its massive humanoid front paws is flexed to the side, as if just waking up, though inwardly, very much, irritated, at Naruto. From the outward perceptive, Kagaya can see Naruto closed his eyes gently, as if goes into meditative. This, make her feel threatened, just what is his plan now? Different from what Naruto thought, Kagaya actually also winded from their battle, but she can hide it nicely. After all, you pick some nice trick if live as long as her. But still, she did not make any move on Naruto form. After all, what if it was a trap to lure her in? Ninja after all tricky like that, though inside Kagaya giving out thin smile, knowing her grandson reincarnate is not like that. She can see it after all, his heart is pure, kindness simply poured out from his whole body, truly, he is a shining precious jewel in this blackened world. And that's also why, she will send him to afterlife as fast as possible, as painless as possible, so he did not need to see her cleanse this world from its inhabitant. Word did not do justice. Within a blink, Kagaya already shoot ash-killing bone to Naruto head, unknown to him, without soul-destroying property, and with another blink it already hair distance from his forehead. Swish, Madara do the same thing, and Naruto can dodge it easily. But now is different, his body is weakened, his chakra already the size of river if compared to his usual ocean. More so he is currently focused, so he just did not have time to react. Help come to him as with a mighty roar, Kurama takes control of his body and shifted. Sadly, while success, the ash-killing bone in the end grazed on Naruto's neck, letting some blood dripped. And seeing this, Kurama gives out a whined growl, and waiting for the end that will befall. 2 seconds and Kurama then blinked owlishly. What the hell happened? But it was at this time Naruto wake up from his trance-like state, and opened both of his eyes, showing a crimson eyes with black lotus-shaped orbs inside it. And he knows just what happened. Sasuke gave him his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Tear of sadness gently trailed down from both of his eyes, with the clear substance catching Kagaya attention. Naruto is crying. He obviously did not notice that he just got hit by one of her one-hit kill technique, the reason she can guess that he just now too much deep in his trance state. But one glance to his eyes, Kagaya breath, almost, hitched, that eyes, just how did he gain them? Asura advanced body is no problem for her, as she can negate it with her eyes, and Asura chakra, she can just absorb it. Indra eyes also no problem for her, as she has the true final advanced state 1 in her forehead, so she also can negate it. But if both combined, Sharingan would transform into Rinnegan if placed in Uzumaki, and that mean minutes later, it will happen, and if so, she will as if fighting against her son Hagoromo when that happens. And seeing Naruto's current state, she silently sighed and decided to just finish it before Rinnegan awakened. Inwardly she slightly gritted her teeth. Her eyes connected with the current Mugen Tsukiyomi, and that mean, every living being that trapped inside the illusion, she can watch their memories easily. And so she actually already finished watching Naruto's whole life from every living being that has a memory about him. Such kindness, to forgave the enemy. Such drive, to always keeping on his promise. Such loyalty, to never ever betray his friend, even the one that betrayed him. And lastly, such innocent, to not even notice the love that sent at him. If only, he is, that, type of person, Kagaya surely wouldn't have heart to cut even the single hair from his head. Too much deep in though, Kagaya did not realize a fist that sailed to her cheek, and only realized at the last second. Boom! With a shockwave, Naruto's fist buried into the tall goddess' cheek, even the air is silenced from the mighty shockwave, his eyes that of still eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but with deep purple instead that of crimson. Horia, following the goddess launched form, Naruto feet raised high, ready to axe kicking her. Kagaya, this time noticed this as she created a portal and going inside, dodging the kick that she is sure would be hurt. Crack, it proofed when the earth itself as if split into two and huge crater appeared, Naruto feet in the middle of it. Now can sense chakra with his eyes, swirling shuriken made of chakra appear instantly in his right palm. Futen, Rasenshuriken, with a throw that make air around him as if pained, Naruto sends his technique into his right, where he could see his enemy form come out from another portal. Much to his unsurprised, Kagaya just lazily opened her palm forward, and another portal opened, this time swallowed his jutsu easily. Pointless. Her voice is cold and uncaring, which make Naruto slightly shiver. The power in her tone is so obvious, and it really demanded him to bow at her. But Naruto, hard-headed he is, would not do that, as with cross-shaped hand seal, he does his trademark jutsu. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. With a loud poof, 20 identical Naruto appeared, each began to rotate different kind of chakra in their palm. And knowing what is these techniques, Kagaya wasted no times to shoot bullet-shaped ash-killing bones into the 19 clones, making them disappear with another group of poof. Not even disappointed, and if he did not show it, Naruto lowered his right palm to his one remain clone, as it then gathered the right amount of wind chakra, while Naruto himself sent normal chakra to his palm, along with big amount of Kurama corrosive chakra, and to balance all three, he used a tiny bit of still overpowered to him 6-path chakra, the chakra that can make anything happen. Six-path art. Vermilion, his hand back, Naruto tensed all of his muscles, then throw the jutsu of his Rasenshuriken. Like a beacon in the darkest day, the spiraling of death launched at Kagaya that just stood still, one of her eyebrows raised delicately. And lazily, she creates a portal in front of her to swallow the jutsu. Kamui. Only, this time Kagaya truly widens her eyes, still slightly, in a surprised manner as her portal swallowed by the black hole of Kamui. This one filled with so much chakra that it can overpower her portal. Thin smile appears on the Kagaya face as she now faced with 3 times sized red and black version of this, Rasenshuriken. This smile on her, though, filled with simple melancholy. No way her grandson reincarnate jutsu can hurt her, not at this simple level. She nay. Boom. The earth itself as if trembled when the technique destroyed miles upon miles of its body, leaving a huge spiraling dome of red and black. In the middle of this, is Kagaya, seen as if unhurt despite cells upon cells of her destroyed at fast rates. Naruto, seeing this, bit his bottom lip bleed in frustration, his whole body shimmering for unknown reason. Unknown to most people, because Naruto and Kurama obviously noticed this, with Kurama as the one showing concern first. Naruto. This is, the blonde himself, just chuckled dryly. His next words filled nothing but emptiness as his knees buckled, ready to fall at any times. It's not like anyone can see it, Kurama. Except Kagaya, of course, and it's not like she would make fun of me before killing me. I just can't picture her being like that. His body shimmering or not, Sage of the Sixth Path wants to deactivate or not. Naruto is not one to give up as with trembled finger traced some blood in his lip, then pressed it to his wrist, and with a poof, single 3-pronged kunai appeared in his hand, in its handle as complex seals array. Honestly, he has not even mastered this yet, because each experiment only leads to his clone body cannot take the pressure. And even if they success, their body shimmered just like he's currently. But now, what is he going to lose? Desperate action for desperate situation after all. Kurama. Did you have a bit chakra for my hand? This is the last kit, even if you arrive there and touched Kagaya. You cannot seal her without any chakra. Kurama's voice is tired. Naruto noticed this as he just smiled sadly and stared at his now fully shimmering hand that held the kunai, as if ready to gone from existence. Well, if that happened, at least I know that my last attack successfully landed and I touched her right. I can die with smile at least. Inside the spiraling red doom, Kagaya surprisingly silent, staring at Naruto form with a sad face, as if can sense what he and Kurama talking about. He in the end gives up and ready to die. Kagaya is not heartless. To someone like Naruto, in normal situations she would even send his soul privately to heaven. At least knowing he cannot seal her without chakra, she would just grant his wish to touch her with both hands, even if it's only to calm his mind before he dying. With a simple read into many IWA shinobi that trapped inside Mugen Tsukiyomi, Kagaya realizes that the kunai in Naruto hand can be used for instant teleportation, and that put her mind in a calm state, knowing it can't even hurt her. And so, she waited. Half-minute later, the raging wind began to calm down, as Naruto narrowed his eyes and can only see blurry sight of Kagaya, standing there, unhurt. Let's go, Kurama. Our last shoot. Not knowing his weakened mind can be read easily by a goddess, Naruto hand moves to throw the kunai. For normal human, cause Naruto throws the weapon with a support from Kurama chakra, they would only see a simple blur, like a simple flash of gleaming silver before their head stabbed. Kagaya is far from normal human, she is a goddess. This is a child play for her. If someone can become so famous because of simple teleport, let's not forget that she can open the portal to any dimension, and she also can dump anyone within her gaze to that dimension in question. But like she promised, she did not even move as the slow kunai become near, and when it almost stabbed her shoulder, weak force of gravity made it hovered inches away from her kimono. It's enough for her grandson reincarnation to teleport to her way, right? Her question answered as she can see Naruto form gone in a flash of yellow, then reappeared directly in front of her, two hands in grabbing position. But his form, make Kagaya frowned with slight worry. What with that blur that cover his whole body, it's as if reality itself bent themselves, rippled like a water. It's as if he is covered in solid illusion. Kagaya sees it. At first Shido, Naruto, Asura, mode would be deactivated and his normal look, which she already knows from people memory, will come out from it. But she did not, really did not, though her weakness would suddenly replace her grandson reincarnate. His body at first shrunken, again and again till his head not even reaching her if they are standing side by side, if it can be guessed, his height around that of 145 centimeters or accurately around 4-7 feet. Obviously, there no such thing as clothes magically shrunken along moment right now, as Naruto now tiny body covered with an obviously loose clothes, giving him an adorable image. His skin tone began to get lighter, until it was healthy pink-white in color, and if this combined with his now shortened whiskers marks, it gives him an appearance like that of cute kittens. Lastly, gone his blonde hair, now it was pure white in color, as white as snow with style like that of Sasuke when he's kid, only more tamed, and if combined with his big, wide innocent cerulean blue eyes, it gives him the slight feminine appearance. All of this make even Kagaya brain freeze, her eyes dazedly staring at former blonde new form, trail of blood dripped from her nose. Fortunately for her, Naruto energy already used up, all of it. 7 days of battle began to take its toll on his body, and with his last energy, another fortunate for Kagaya, Naruto palms, gripped on Kagaya kimono front in adorable manner, she can even see that he snored cutely. Creation of all things is an overpowered ability, its name alone suggests at what it does. And right now, Kagaya ignored all of these overpowered nonsense, as she creates a big bundle of tissue. Then immediately, she pressed all of it into her nose. Squirt. In no time, all of these tissue turned red from Kagaya blood, and these amounts can even compare to that of 3 adult man's whole blood, pretty much can kill anyone that lose that much. Except Kagaya, of course. Dying like this would be such a paradise for her, but let just honest, why should she do it? Instead of that, after all, she can do other thing. Single quote. Yeah. Dazedly, Kagaya looked down again and can see Naruto, adorable, cute, perfect, Prince of Shota, form have an adorable nose twitch moment. The legendary moment that can make even the mightiest heart crumbled like simple dry paper. Doki Doki, almost died again, this time from heart attack. Kagaya creates another big bundle of tissue and press it to her nose. In no time making it red from blood. Fumu. This time, Kagaya did not have time to get ready as the albino Shota snuggled into her stomach. She can even feel his cute tiny head rubbing her under bust slightly. Not only that, he even let out such cute sound. From so much stimulation, in the end many liter of blood burst from her nose, knocking the goddess out, her big sleeved arms possessively wrapped around the boy. No, though that really crossed Kagaya mind, but from how her eyes rolled backward with stupid grin on her face and droll leaked from the edge, anyone would know that whatever inside her mind can make most children traumatized for life. 2 weeks later, in the middle of nice room, casual yet royal looking bed can be seen. On top of the bed, with a peaceful expression on his face is Naruto, who didn't realize what had happened in these 2 weeks he was passed out. Beside the bed, sat in chair while playing with Naruto's silky white hair is Kagaya, her face an expression of melancholy. UNNNNMM. A soft melodious moan was then heard as the sleeping boy shifted. His dazzling cerulean blue eyes opened delicately, blinking a bit from the sudden sunlight. There is no visible movement that is seductive in nature, yet for Kagaya, it felt like there was. Her heart says so too. Doki Doki. Despite this, Kagaya's expression never changed, as she kept caressing the boy's hair, sometimes her long fingers traced across his soft cheeks, also resisting the urge to kiss it. She already did that many times in these 2 weeks after all, along with other things. Yeah. Other things. Wiping the blood from her nose, Kagaya focused her attention back to the albino boy that successfully made her feel like this. With Naruto himself slowly, but surely getting his bearing. For Naruto, he felt his body ached, screaming at him to stop trying, demand him to get more rest. But he ignored it, knowing that many times he had a more fatal and life-threatening injuries in the past. Some aches like this is nothing. Who are you? Eyes still not fully geared up, Naruto can only make out blurry sight of someone face with whitish-gray hairs and a pair of Byakugan eyes, but knowing only one person that has that characteristic, his tone laced with hesitation and some fear. The latter reason, because he felt his body like it is natural. And that's bad for him. He did not know how complex his personal jutsu is, but he is sure that there's no way someone as powerful as Kagaya would even blink for something like it. It was, after all, only advanced henge jutsu topped with many layers of endurance seals and Kurama's chakra. Even Tsunade Ba-chan jutsu to hide her appearance is more advanced than what he used. Thinking back to her, someone he really felt like his own mother, despite kept calling her otherwise, Naruto eyes stabbed with pain, as it becomes teary at fast rates. Not only her, but everyone he held dear in his heart, along with everyone from the Shinobi Alliance. Maybe from this sadness, Naruto did not see that Kagaya stared at him with strange eyes, nor he comprehended when suddenly his body engulfed in a tight embrace. From Kagaya nonetheless. What? He wanted to ask, but the sound that come out from his throat is only cute squeak that only make Kagaya hug on him tightened, burying his head into her big bosom and making him inhale her sweet vanilla scent. Dense as he is, Naruto still felt embarrassed from his current situation as blood was going to his face, turning it red from his blush, like a rose in the snow if compared. Truly beautiful. It's Oka. Kagaya tried to comfort the albino, though Naruto, in his confused state, knowing she is the one intended to erase human from the world, quickly pushed her off. Don't touch me. Despite his blushing face, Naruto's face filled with many mixed expressions, in which most profound is the fear and vulnerability, showing his rare, fragile state, one of the reasons Kagaya let him pushed her off just now. Okay. Her voice is uncaring, cold and monotone, making Naruto shiver more in fear. Unconsciously he wrapped thick blanket around his body in an adorable way of hiding. His wide, shaky blue eyes unmoving from Kagaya form, afraid that if he ever lose her from sight, she will do something to him. Well, from that mysterious light behind her eyes, she will do something, all right. Not that Naruto would let her do that, with his gaze locked on and all, he even refused to blink. How long was I asleep for? Gulping in nervousness, one thing he can do in this current body, Naruto asked, decide to just go bold instead going around. That was never his strong suit after all. 2 weeks. Naruto eyes become much bigger here from shock, and also a bit dimmed. 2 weeks, with no shinobi trying to save him, or if they were already killed. His mind began to wander off, and every path of mind led to the same question. Did that mean humanity was already annihilated? Even the thought alone made Naruto shivers in his most fragile state. But knowing his thought is only that, a thought, Naruto opened his mouth again to ask, only for Kagaya to cut him off suddenly. My person did not do anything to thou people. I believe we are stranded. Her talking way, at first, made Naruto tilt his head a bit cutely, also resist an urge to smile. To hear someone's strange way of talking is really funny. Now he knows what the others felt when his catchphrase came out from his mouth. But when the stranded word came out, also inside a normal sentence, Naruto froze. His cerulean blue eyes become shaky as he stared at his enemy. Questioningly, Kagaya's next words were unforgiving, just like her personality. We are stranded. In another dimension. Her tone while cold and unforgiving also held a hint of distaste, which Naruto ignored in favor to repeat Kagaya words inside his head. He is stranded, not on an island or some unknown city, but in a whole different dimension. Part of him was a bit happy cause with this Kagaya cannot kill the others, but another part of him really felt empty. The question then comes out from his mouth. Then why are you not taking us back? The rabbit goddess shook her head softly here, that fragile tone of him just made her heart clenched in pain. Softly, like he is the most precious gem she ever held, Kagaya once again pulled the albino boy into her body, engulfing him in a hug. This time Naruto did not reject it, as he really needs it. Sob sob. At first it was only a sob, yet slowly but surely it becomes a full-blown cry of sadness. Ooh, wah. Tell him to do something that even the most daring person would flinch at, and Naruto can do it with confidence and a smile on his face. But separate him from his precious people, Naruto would clutch at the person that is nearest to him. And the situation right now made Naruto's lithe hands clutch onto Kagaya's kimono like dear life, burying his face into her cloth covered and wetting it with his tears. Naruto did not hold a pipe dream. If Kagaya decides not to tell him and just comfort him like this, she must have her own reason and cannot do what he asked. Why she does this is missed by his current fragile mind. How? Why? In his cry, Naruto could only ask something that to most people was pretty much non-understandable. But Kagaya is not most people, as she pretty much understand what the boy meant. Not like she will answer his question, not now. Not with his fragile state. She did not want her cute Naru, broken after all. Sleep. Rinne Sharingan opened on her forehead, a red inhuman eye gazed into Naruto's cerulean eyes, and in his state, he couldn't resist as slowly but surely his eyes dropped. When the boy in the end fell asleep in her embrace, a soft sigh escaped from Kagaya lips, so controlled that it basically non-existent. Then gently, she carried the boy bridal style and rocked him softly after covering his cute body with her long sleeves. Maybe from his sadness, her Naru did not realize his lack of attire. Much to her mixed happiness and sadness. Obviously, she is happy for the show of that seductive body in front of her eyes, but she is sad because it was not followed by him flustered, then covering his body with more sheets. Then he would have said, no, don't look at me why you be baka, it's embarrassing. For many times in these weeks, blood trailed from Kagaya's nose as she stared at the boy's sleeping face that softly snoring in her, his warm breath hitting her bosom, giving her shiver of pleasure and goosebump feeling. Honestly, she did not care for those chakra thieves that her Naru cared about. But she is sure cared for his mood. Fortunately, she chose this particular dimension. With this he cannot go back, not without meeting with that entity. Her Naru did not need any monkeys. Nor did he need those animals called tailed beasts. She can make him happy by herself, in here, only the two of them. And if there is some pest around, they better hope that they did not meet with her. Now, she really should think of a way to make her Naru happy after he realizes there is no tailed beast in his gut anymore. Maybe he would give her some kisses after that. Blushing greatly, Kagaya's breath began to get ragged as she stared at her Naru's lips, those soft, inviting lips that sometimes touch against the fabric that cover her bosom. XXXXX break XXXXX. Far above in heaven, my lord, I believe we should face this newcomer face on and observe whether they are malicious or not. Beside a golden regal throne, an armored man can be seen, his whole body covered in gold armor, even his face. Behind him, 6 pairs of feathery wings can be seen, its golden shine simply illuminating the room. And when he talks, he does it with such reverence and loyalty to the one sat in the throne. But the man that sat in throne only silent for several seconds, his whole form covered with thick silver light, rendered his form to be unseen. Is it truly what you felt, Metatron? Or is it your fear that forces you to say something like that? The armored man, now called Metatron, did not even flinch as he who sat in throne of heaven, talked with questioning intent to him, but he is sure that his light buzzing with such happiness for hearing his voice alone. Yes, my lord, because for another god to just decide to stay in that place that is part of your domain is an insult in the highest degree. The light on the throne of heaven then lets out a sound that very much reminded Metatron of sighing, and he doesn't know whether it is good or bad. Metatron, you are one of my most loyal subordinate, so for now just trust me and don't do anything that can make these two entities angry. And if not for me, do it for your own life. Despite not liking the order given to him, Metatron nodded to his lord and placed his palm on his own chest. Yes, my lord, XXXXX break XXXXX. Another 2 weeks time skip. He is a god, a god. Again and again Naruto repeats this inside his mind, but truly he cannot feel any happiness from it. Not like this. Kurama is not with him anymore, but the Kyuubi chakra remained inside his gut, along with other tailed beasts' chakra, mysteriously. And every time he asked Kagaya, she clammed down and averted their topic into another. So suspicious. With no conscience to control all of these massive amount of chakra, they simply burst from his body and exploded. In some case it would kill a normal person, but as full sage of the sixth path he is, more so some support from Kagaya, these chakra did not hurt him, only strengthened his body, saturating it with mixed 9 chakras. Simply put, right now he is the Jubi, primordial god of tree. Naruto could feel it, power drummed hard from every vein in his person, ready to be unleashed, yet he felt hopeless at his own inability to go back to his home, his own dimension. So what if he becomes a deity? So what if he now is a something that many of his former enemies wanted to be? If he cannot share this joyous moment with his friends, his family, his partner, honestly, he rather chooses death than this. His family, despite not being a family by blood, he loved them more than usual families felt with each other. Because they are his guide, the ones to make him into what he is right now, a strong young man. His friends, those that stood beside him, fight with him, laugh with him, sad with him, and accepting him for who he truly is and not what people had said about him. They are part of his life, and despite there being too many to be counted more so after the war began, he always treated them as one, as his precious people. And lastly, his people. The same people that had shunned, sneered, glared and mocked on his dream along with everything he did. Yet he changed them, their hate changed into love, their fear turned into admiration. With every step, he simply felt their awe gaze at him. It felt good, not because he is greedy, or something like that, but because he knew, his dream had already come true. Everyone, not only in Konoha, but all around the nation recognized him for his power, his charisma, his determination, and most of all his hard work. But now, everything gone just like that, everything that he gained from his blood and tears. Sat in the window of the little house of his in Kagaya, Naruto closed his eyes gently, his fingers gently traced Hiraishin Kunai in his palm. Speaking of Kagaya, she was very supportive of him in these 2 weeks and she is very kind after he got to know her. The uncaring side of her was even gone with time. A ghost of a smile and a cute blush then appeared on Naruto's face as he remembered how she hugged him when he woke up 2 weeks ago, saying many sweet things in his ear. I will protect you. Remembering about that time, Naruto blush deepened, though now that he thinks again, he remembers he felt something grabbing his butt. Meh, must be his imagination. All in all, Kagaya is very much showing her deep loving side to him, she is even ignoring his state of body, much to his happiness, and did not mock him. Maybe he can live happily here after all. XXXXX break XXXXX. Later, sitting on his bed Naruto, donned in pure white kimono, much to his embarrassment with a loose collar, showing some part of his pearly white skin that's as soft as baby skin. As a deity, he really did not need to eat, but deities' power increased by how close the deity in question to their own domain, also their imagination. The latter is more important, because with it a deity can manipulate their domain. For example, light shaped into sword, spear, pillar, spikes, beam, or simple burst to illuminate. Fire can be manipulated into blazing heat that spread, or a tiny laser that can pass through almost anything. For a human that become a deity, they have a weakness inside their imagination. Because in it, they always think that they need to eat so they can get energy. Imagination is truly a double-edged blade for all deities. They can control many things with it, but they also can control their own body as well, and if not careful, in a bad way. That's also why, currently Naruto sat on the edge of the bed while Kagaya is in front of him, feeding him by spoon. Kagaya, Naruto gently called as he uncomfortably stares at the spoon that the goddess held. Reason: the amount of steam that's coming out of it alone very much made Naruto uncomfortable. Not including the heat that he felt yet. Yes, she, innocently, answered, tilting her head, as if currently not giving him the hottest food he's ever seen. Like a gentle fire that was just lit up, Naruto's face slowly gained the crimson hue, an unfamiliar feeling that he never felt in his fake body. Shyness. With his body truly been shown, a feeling of self-consciousness began to bubble up, and following it, is shyness. Biting his bottom lip, Naruto's bashful reaction made Kagaya inwardly drool more so when he fumbled around his words like that. Isn't that a bit too hot ttebeo? Several seconds silent. Naruto reaction for his own catchphrases is to gain redder hue in his cheeks, followed by him staring into his lap and playing with his kimono like it's some sort of interesting sight. Kagaya reaction: firstly her eyes turned into that of predator full of hunger, then after placing the plate on the desk, she grabbed both of Naruto's shoulders and pushed him onto the bed rather forcefully. Naruto, not expecting this, found himself let out a familiar squeak. Eep. Unfortunately for him, Hinata-like squeak did not deter Kagaya, only make it worse as her face now turned crimson, breath ragged as she also climbed bed and began to straddle his waist, increasing Naruto's embarrassment. Kagaya, what are you doing? She responded by placing both of her sleeves-covered palms on Naruto's cheeks, left and right respectively. Then kissed him on the lips. Naruto got a brain freeze here, if not from the suddenness of this situation, then from the question why she would do this. But he did not get any times as from his dazed state, Kagaya's tongue thought it as an opportunity and decided to go straight into his mouth. Fully crimson in the face, the albino boy letting out startled yell and pushed away the goddess from his body, with her have this distaste face cause she is rejected from the sweet hole which is her Naru mouth. Just another second there, and she can taste the sweetness. She is just that near. Didn't know what Kagaya currently thinks. With blushing face Naruto touched his own lips. That was his first with girl that did not try to kill him, and if he can be honest, it was enjoyable. Her lips is so soft. Thinking like that, from Naruto's head a big amount of steam is coming out, catching Kagaya's attention, as she activated her Rinne Sharingan and burned the image of her adorable Naru moment deep inside her brain. She can use this for masturbate sometimes. Fu. Ow. Too much embarrassed. In the end Naruto passed out with red face that's so red that it can make Hinata own looked pale, all the while Kagaya memorized the image. From the back of the goddess mind, urge to rape the boy when he sleeps appear, but it quickly squashed down as fast as it appears. She will rape her cute Naru, but she will do it with his consent, not now, when he is not even used to simple hug. Even a kiss made he passed out. But Kagaya is patient, cause with patience the reward will be much more satisfactory. For now, maybe she needs to cool down her Naru food before he wakes up. Kagaya, can you now tell me honestly, why we can't go back to our dimension? Face hardened, which makes him more adorable in that Shota body of his. Naruto stared up at Kagaya, who has her Rinne Sharingan and horns out for some reason he did not know. Though when asked, she just said something like, to memorize the most adorable sight in the world. So he just left her alone after that. Then he waited, with Kagaya after burying the image of her Naru's adorable serious moment. Deep inside her mind softly sighed, her eyes stared down into Naruto's own seriously, a hint of hesitation can be seen there. Naru. Here Naruto started blushing, really embarrassed that Kagaya called him that. This is the first time someone called him something so affectionate like she is, with the closest in the past being Hinata who called him Naruto-kun when talking about him. Quote, I myself am not trying to lie to you. But I really don't want you to do something that is suicidal in nature. Naruto felt familiar feeling of warmth in his heart, but he also gained a twitching eyebrow at Kagaya's blatant obvious lack of trust with him. And here he already thinks her as his friend. And yes, he has already forgiven her for her past deeds and now thinks of her as a friend. After all, if he can forgive Nagato, that killed many of his precious people, along with many civilian of Konoha. Itachi that slew his own clan and made his best friend's life fucked up. Even Obito who caused his parents' death and Kurama that kills them, followed also by the many previous enemies of his. Simply put, Kagaya who only killed Sasuke is more forgivable than that. But he really don't like to be underestimated like this. If the problem is a really big problem, no way he does something like going straight into it. He is smarter than that. Honest. Kagaya, pouting in the most adorable way, Naruto's eyes turned into a cute glare that made Kagaya twitch. Not in fear, but in urge to crush him into her bosom, all the while shouting, Kia. She resisted it like a professional. Okay then, but I want something in return. Saying that with a very serious face, more than when she faced off against him, Kagaya getting Naruto's attention who also became much more serious. The aura of an experienced leader practically excluded from his body. I guess, that's fair, but what do you want anyway Kagaya? You know you can just ask me anything without doing this. Kagaya shook her head here, much to Naruto's confusion. No, my Naru, you won't do it if I simply ask. Tilting his head cutely, Naruto became curious, just what did she want? Kagaya's next words made the tension around them break like a fragile glass and changed into awkward one. What I want, is a kiss on my cheek, from my Naru. From serious to embarrassment, Naruto's face turned red from embarrassment. He really hadn't expected that one, so he do what he could in this current situation. He screamed at her, Kagaya, XXXXX break XXXXX. An hour or so later, Naruto sat in his bed, this time alone as he was slowly digesting the knowledge given by Kagaya just now. The existence that made even the strongest god tremble in fear, so much that they rather swallow their pride and kneel to a slime than facing this being. And currently, this being lived in the dimensional gap, the border that he needed to cross before he can go to elemental nation dimension. Following that, this being is famous for attacking anyone that simply stared at it. Thus the reason Kagaya was hesitant to go back to their dimension. But honestly, to Naruto this is just so cliché that it's not funny anymore. A god, tremble in fear. PFF'd. Yeah, right, not like he is going to ignore Kagaya warning though. He is just a newborn, primordial god after all. Against something like that being, he would be crushed before 1 second can tick off. With Kagaya maybe can last for 30 minutes. From what he can gather from his goddess friend, it seems she was not even serious when she was facing off against him, and only used no more than 1% of her real power. The reason she was not serious is because she just woke up and couldn't use her real power. That makes his pride drop and burn like simple dry paper. Knock knock, my Naru, you there? The call from Kagaya made Naruto jerk in some surprise as he then changed his attention to the door of the bedroom. Hold on for a bit Kagaya. Scrambling from bed, the albino boy then walked to the door, his steps making a pitter-patter sound on the wooden floor. Click. Opening the door, Naruto is greeted with the tall form of Kagaya that is staring down at him with that Byakugan of her Rinne Sharingan closed and became merely a slit in her forehead. Her horns were also gone, covered by high-class illusion. Naru, I want my kiss. Now. Saying that with face of seriousness, Kagaya only got a sweat drop from Naruto, his cheeks slightly flushed from shyness. With his eyes averted away from Kagaya, strange, yet full of passion gaze, for what he did not know. GG's, Kagaya, suddenly see coming only for T that. It's not like as simple K kiss from me is that nice. Dense protocol activated, along with some Tsunere-ish, Naruto shifted his body shyly, face flushed adorably. Kagaya reaction is to push him into the wall, making Naruto gasped into her bosom, because Kagaya also pressed her tall body to him and looked up at her with redder face. I want my kiss from my Naru, now. Face as if demonic in nature, Kagaya growled, making Naruto inwardly freak out, but surprisingly also make him feel fuzzy and warm for her seriousness for a simple kiss to cheek from him. He never felt so wanted like this from the opposite gender in the past. Oh okay then, Kagaya saw it then, her Naru has his fist tightly and adorably too clutched onto her kimono with a cute crimson face, then with such timidness he began to tiptoe so he can reach her face. Obviously, at this point she already activated her blessed Rinne Sharingan, for photographic memory it gave, also wrapped her long-sleeved arms around her Naru waist so she can pull him close and lastly leaned her face down a bit. Her eyes focused into her Naru face, specifically that pink luscious lips of his that soon would be velvetly touching against her cheek. She inwardly shivers in pleasure by thinking about it alone. Several seconds later, when Naruto's lips were only a hair's distance from Kagaya's cheek, she waited with bated breath, yet already turned wet in her groin from the simple warm breath that was caressing her skin. Knock knock, Kagaya, there is someone knocking at the front door, let me answer it Ibeo. Suddenly, just when Naruto's lips almost touched against Kagaya's cheek, a knock can be heard from the front door, making Naruto widen his eyes excitedly, and like an overly adorable kitten that found a new thing, he jumped out from Kagaya's embrace and began to run to the door. I'm coming, Kagaya, at first silent, but then her eyes suddenly turned pure murderous and killing intent that could make a lower god pass out poured hard from her body, filling the room with such thick intent. Who in the name of the moon would dare Naru block me? Veins bulged near her Byakugan, and Rinne Sharingan spinning angrily in her forehead, grayish aura of death began to encompass the goddess's form. She will kill something, or some gods if whoever blocking her from her Naru time is wasting his time. XXXXX break XXXXX. With Naruto, in front yard. As for the albino boy himself, he currently in a staring contest with a male with slightly above average height. This male is very unique, if Naruto can say so himself. Firstly, he used an attire that is white in color, which covered his whole body except for some parts like his mouth, neck and palms, with a white mask covering his eyes to nose, though blue eyes with a white cross in the middle can be seen from the hole in the mask. The male also has a white hair, and unlike Naruto's own that is pure white, the male is metallic silver in color. And lastly, on his back, a total of 12 pairs of shiny gold wings can be seen, all feathery in nature. He also has this pure feeling in him that made Naruto crack some form of a smile for this unique male. However, inside that purity, Naruto can feel the male sadness and distress, the grieves in every fiber of his being. Yes, can I help you? Greeted Naruto with some pink in his cheeks because he doesn't know what this male respond at his short stature. And fortunately the male only smiled gently. Greetings, you can call me the biblical god. The male tone filled with a hint of pride, obviously for his title, making Naruto's smile a bit dropped. Excuse me, I said you can call me the biblical god, little hatchling. Slowly, Naruto gained a twitching eyebrow at the blatant show of arrogance from the god in front of him. But then his face relaxed and smiled pleasantly, making the biblical god inwardly puffed his chest. This is going to be easy, he thought. Naruto's next words broke that thought as fast as it came. And why should I care about that? Oh, biblical God. At first, the God was staring at Naruto strangely, like this is the first time he meet with someone that did not have any reaction after hearing his title. After all, even gods from other faction have some recognizement eyes after they heard his title. Plus the way Naruto said his title strangely made him feel the slight of irritation bubbled from his heart. But after several seconds of staring down, the God relented. Yahweh is my name, and 'tis my pleasure to meet you. Gently, the God bowed low, thinking maybe he is wrong and the God in front of him is not some hatchling of primordial and instead truly one of them. Naruto blinked, he actually told him his name. But oh well, that means he just judged this Yahweh wrong. My name is Naruto, it's nice to meet you. Not loud anymore after the war, Naruto smiled pleasantly at Yahweh, which the God returned with his own. So why is a God coming here for anyways? When Naruto asked this, Yahweh once again bowed, a bit lower than previously, knowing that by asking this out of the blue already considered as rude. I want to ask you a favor. Inwardly, Naruto groaned, if Yahweh is truly rude like he thought of him at first, he really would kick him out from his front yard, be he God or not. But since Yahweh asked him nicely, Naruto at least can try to be more civil and heard him out. What is it? I'll consider it after I heard your favor. Yahweh straightened his stature here, eyes narrowed behind his mask. Yes, that is understandable. I'll begin then. Firstly, I hope you know that this ground that you use is living ground as a battleground. What? Naruto's eyes widen in shock here, and noticing this, Yahweh made the conclusion that the primordial didn't know about this, so he continued. I see you don't know about it, but it's understandable. For your information, since you live here all three sides have become silent and afraid to move, they obviously noticed the power you possessed. Digesting all of this, Naruto then stared into Yahweh's eyes with his own that is filled with experienced war veteran, making the God of Bible inwardly flinching. Tell me your point. Yes, I wanted to ask for your help so this place could become neutral if any of three side become more daring, make it so no one could fight here. While saying that seriously, Naruto obviously noticed the sadness in Yahweh's eyes, like he already has too many weights in his heart, losing many of his underling. Just like what he felt when facing against Madara. Come. Several seconds thinking, Naruto in the end finalizes his decision, though he really needs full detail of the situation, so that's why he now held his right fist in front of himself, waiting for Yahweh to bump fist with him. Only for Yahweh to raise his eyebrows questioningly. Just bump your fist with me, with twitching eyebrow, Naruto said. As for Yahweh, while at first a bit hesitant, after seeing no malicious intent in Naruto's eyes just decide to trust him. So bumped fist he is. Swish, and instantly, he felt foreign energy entering his body. With this energy comes a very pure and warm in nature feeling, yet full of sadness and frustration. Waiting, Yahweh realizes this energy moved in an act that as if it want to tell him something, though before he could try to hear it, Naruto already retracted his fist, cutting off their energy trade. Opposite of Yahweh, Naruto now already knows the full story. Three factions, which are the angels, fallen angels and devils right now have bad blood between each other, and this has been happening for hundreds of years. And their main war ground is the place he currently lived along with Kagaya, but because they lived here none dared to move as anyone supernatural can simply feel their primordial level power. The god in front of Naruto didn't like this war, he even still loved his children, that already have become devils and fallen angels. Each war brought too many dead, and he doesn't want to lose any of his children anymore. I'll do what I can, Naruto said with a hint of a smile on his face. It's refreshing to see someone like Yahweh, despite his pretty attitude at first. There are just not many others like him. Thank you so much. While slightly confused, Yahweh lightly bowed at Naruto, sensing nothing but honesty from the primordial. Honestly, When he felt foreign energy in a place where war took place, the first thing he did was to know what it was. How shocked he was when the energy felt like multiple domains of gods gathered into one being. Even him, one of strongest god, only used one domain for power and pretty much simply magic for another. But the boy in front of him felt like an enigma. Too many domains inside that body of his, compressed by such a strong, despite tiny, body. 1 or 2 are believable, 3 while a bit rare, not impossible, but this boy. 5 domains of elements, from fire, water, wind, earth and thunder. 9 unknown domain that he really cannot grasp what is it, nor he ever felt it as long as he live. And that's saying something, though for the last domain, he knows what it is, simple destruction. But what makes Yewa wary is not that, no, it was the last 2 domains, the domain that he very familiar with. One of it just like his, a light, pure, shining brightly and held the hint of creation itself. The other though, felt the opposite, just like his dark side. This domain is sinister in nature, but no hate in it, different yet also same. Counting in his head, Yahweh obviously can do nothing except be startled. 16 domains in the hands of one creature, this have been just unheard of. Fortunately, this creature is pure, albeit a bit sad right now, but he must have his reasons. So with that as his last thought, Yahweh teleported back to heaven, hoping the war will end soon without any casualties on any sides. Shiny. Naruto gained a twitching eyebrow again as Yahweh chooses of transportation pretty much make his eyes felt sting for a bit, what with that big burst of light for simple teleport anyway. Unknown to him, that big burst of light can easily slay any high-class devils that looked at it. When Yahweh is not seen anymore, Naruto let out a heavy sad sigh. What's with everyone going to war again and again, whether it is his dimension or this new dimension? Didn't they realize that war only brings anger and pain? He really doesn't understand why people enjoy something like war so much. With that in mind, Naruto gently closes the door to his and Kagaya's little house again, and this time, no sound can be heard from his steps. He arrived in the bedroom, with Kagaya's already waiting for him. Who was it, Naru? And what did that person want? Her voice is very cold when she said, that person, making Naruto flinched a bit from that coldness. Let me show you. Holding his fist to Kagaya, Naruto only got a silent look for merely a second before the goddess wrapped her long sleeve around his hand. Below it her real hand tenderly grasped his tiny fist, caressing it like it was the most precious jewel. Naruto shivered here. The way she held his hand really. What's the word? Suggesting for what he didn't know, because that word suddenly going into his mind by itself. Obviously she can read his mind from their holding hands. Kagaya cracked an amused smile as she was staring at her Naru. He is just so adorable, confused at his own reaction like that. But now she did fully understand their situation, these wars, how come she hadn't noticed something like this? Inwardly she cheated for not even choosing a more proper place for the two of them, and now her Naru would be forced to include himself in this war as the fourth side. No, that cannot happen. No way was she going to let any pest make her Naru time reduced, even if they will fight in this world, no way would she let these pests reduce her Naru time. Not even for a second. He is hers, and anyone that dare come to this place will die by her hands. She is going to make sure of it. I will take care of them. Her voice is calm and comforting, supposedly to make her Naru relent and let her do his job. But his face only got redder in an adorable way, making her confused at first. Not that she dislikes it, every adorable moment of her Naru is precious after all, but then she realizes that their hands still connected, meaning he can also hear her thought. My Naru, he is hers. That thought of Kagaya ringing inside of Naruto's head, making him more and more flustered, and in the end he couldn't take it and squeaked. Eep! Like a deer startled, Naruto ran toward the bed and hid under his blanket, cheeks covered by a pink hue. Behind him, Kagaya looked at him with more lust than before. He is just so adorable. Walking to the silverette under the blanket, Kagaya glomped him over the cloth cover, making the boy let out a muffled squeak, face turning more red when he felt the goddess's bosom at the back of his head. Kagaya didn't stop there, as her hands began to wander over the poor boy's body, tenderly caressing any part her palms could reach, making Naruto into a shivering mess in her embrace, letting out soft half-pleased, half-deviant sound from his lips, and eyes half-lidded. When Kagaya heard his soft moan, she gently licked her lips in want. Knock knock. Just as Kagaya went to do something more to her Naru, another set of knocks can be heard outside their little house, and without wasting any time, once Naruto hears the sound he immediately released himself from the blanket restriction and tried to jump from Kagaya's grip. Or so he had hoped to. With an aura of darkness covering her whole being, Kagaya's third eye glaring hard to empty space, but straight into their guest, in front of her in her Naru house, spinning hypnotically, really wanting their guest to just go away. But knowing her Naru would be upset if she ever kicked a guest away, she relented and released her darling from her embrace. Let me. Didn't mean she can't be the one meet with this guest, though. She wanted to give her kindest smile to this person after all. Okay Kagaya-chan. Smiling, as he didn't know her intention at all, Naruto let Kagaya be the one greet their guest, as Kagaya inwardly cooed at his trust in her, but didn't dwell on it that much outwardly as she just stood and walked to her house front door, her movement being light and graceful. Opening her front door, Kagaya can see the form of the biblical god, that has slightly nervous look on his face while staring at her. Well, how couldn't he? He was expecting Naruto to come out when he knocked, but he soon found out that no way was the little primordial coming when he felt such darkness gripping his heart since he knocked on the door. She is dangerous, is the conclusion he has when he first sees this gray-haired, tall woman, so doing his best to smile at her without showing the nervousness he felt, Yaoi just wanted to ask whether he can see Naruto or not, only for this tall woman beat him into it. What do you want? It's worded in a statement, letting Yaoi know that he is unwanted for answering, at the same time it also mean he is unwanted here right now. So, doing his best to keep smiling, Yaoi decide to just make fun of himself and get away from this woman as fast as he can. I think I lost some of my properties in here. Did you see them? No. With a bang, Kagaya slammed the door in front of Yaoi's face, then goes back to her in her Naru's bedroom. Sadly she can sense that her love is already half asleep, and she rather goes fighting against the death god than disturbing her darling's sleep. It's a plus she can masturbate while staring at his cute sleeping face if he's resting. With spring in her steps, Kagaya, goddess of moon, fastened her steps toward the bedroom eagerly, a childish smile almost coming into her face. XXXXXXX, break XXXXXXX. Back at Yaoi, he still stood in front of the door that minutes ago was slammed toward his face, as he now looks at it with a strange gaze. That was the first he ever got rudely kicked away from one place. Letting out a sad sigh, he prepares a teleport for himself to come back to heaven. He actually was just going to give something to Naruto to show his good deeds, and also to begin a friendly relationship with the little primordial. But oh well, there is always next time, right? With a smile and happy expectation, Yaoi teleported back to heaven. It's been a month since the day Yaoi asked him for a favor, and since then, the days of one Naruto Uzumaki is not so peaceful anymore. Each faction decided to be more daring, sending their army little by little, even angels, much to the white-haired primordial confusion. In which Naruto asks to visiting Yaoi at one time, and it's rather hilarious seeing a god having a jaw drop, though sensing the bubbly sadness in the god heart, Naruto decide to resist his urge to laugh. Anyway, it was hard, pushing all of these creatures, with him cannot control his deity's power that much, add the fact he needs to keep his identity concealed and cannot use any Biju power, lest he will be suspected as a yokai from Kyoto. No way he let the innocent creatures in this Kyoto got targeted because of him. It's a true challenge for him. Though, Kagaya had been the one more furious, with her Naru time is cut it off by large margin. By the time 10th days has passed with Naruto keep going out again and again, the moon goddess is going by herself. It's a massacre, with no one left alive, unlike with Naruto that make sure everyone is only passed out. The little deity sulking that day, and despite Kagaya persistence words and promises, saying she won't do it again, it's not until the evening that Naruto in the end forgave her. After that promise in question, Naruto let Kagaya face off against the armies from 3 factions, with him only do the minority to improve on his newly power. Don't any of you weakling dare trespass my ground or face the consequences from me, the primordial. His slight prankster heart is still there. Naruto makes sure to shout that in creepy voice every time he defeated a group of armies. This, actually is a good tactic, as the numbers of armies going are largely reduced in numbers since the new Jubi do that. After all, a primordial is a being that is far more powerful than God themselves. Known primordial is many, but most are asleep, or just didn't care about such a trivial matter like a feeble war of 3 factions. So knowing one stopping them from doing war, devils, fallens and part of angels can do nothing except swallowed their saliva in fear and retreated, for the time being. XXXXXX break XXXXXX. Naruto and Kagaya house. There's not so much things has changed, except for some new chairs and desk in the middle room and some chairs outside if Naruto ever wants to relax and let himself closer with nature. Few times, God of Bible is coming over, surprisingly did not talk about his own faction that much, instead just a small talk about the weather and Naruto condition. He even talked about the human that he made and how he sees their potential, despite weak if compared to other being. It need to be added that when Yahweh talked about human in general, he would always talk in rather passionate and excited tone, unlike his usual calm persona. He must be really proud of his own creation so much, Naruto concluded. Though the former blonde also cannot help but agree at the Yahweh enthusiasm, as the boy himself also found that human here can do many great things, without any chakra. So after many times they talked with each other and found out they have the same fondness for humans, it is safe to call these two a rather good friends. And this day also one of these times that, God, come over for chats and drinks. Ah, such a nice day, isn't it, Naruto? Yahweh said with a happy sigh, on his hand is a cup of tea that just now he took a sip. He really loved atmosphere like this. Yeah, Naruto said as he takes a slurp of his own tea, sighed after that, feeling close with nature at the moment. Though sadly, I felt that the storm is going to come with how silent the 3 factions right now. Yahweh can't help but nod sadly here, also knew that the 3 factions would never stop until they destroy the other 2 and be the last to survive. His heaven is same, even with the nice silent, the threatening holy aura that coming out from his children cannot be concealed. To think his children can do such a thing. I know, that's why I won't delay it anymore and give these 2 to you now. While saying that, Yahweh placed a sword and a ring on top of the desk, getting raised eyebrow from Naruto, knowing what's the sword already. The sword appears to have a grip long enough to make it a 2-handed sword with a round pommel at the end. It also has a gold-colored cross guard that is slightly curved forward. As for the ring, it appears like a plain black ring to Naruto, with some unknown marking glowed for a second, and after it's gone, back into the ring. Excalibur ruler, you seriously would give it to me, Yahweh? Ignoring the ring for now, Naruto grabbed one of Excalibur pieces, holding it like amateur he is in a sword department, but still with care. You know I rather talk with my fists rather with a blade, I'm bad with them. The white head added before Yahweh can even say a word, getting the god for a millisecond have a twitch eyebrow, though immediately covered it with his small smile. Yes, Excalibur ruler is no use if what we want is peace, so I give it to you, along with this ring. Glanced at the ring in question, Naruto stared at it for a long 5 seconds without blinking, as if with that glance he can figure out what kind of godly item is this ring. 5 seconds later, Naruto puffed his cheeks in adorable manner that would trigger one rabbit goddess in her desire if she ever see it, which, fortunately, the goddess in question isn't near at the time. I don't have any idea what is this. Already guessed as much. Yewa let out a dry chuckle with sweat drop on the side of his head. Naruto is Naruto, the god learned this when he knew the little primordial. This ring, Yewa began, pointed at the ring in question. You could say it's the ring that is used by most gods or goddess these days to conceal their deity aura. It also can act as limiter for deity and let them lower their power into their preferred power. And lastly, it can change the wearer's appearance, though this is mostly for gods that didn't have a human appearance. Looked at the black ring in question, Naruto blinked several times. Quote, limit deity aura and lowering their power level. Seriously. The boy also said it with deadpanned look, as if his image about gods broke like a fragile glass at that sentence. Not noticed this yet, Yaoi nodded seriously, his eyes narrowed behind that mask of him. Yes, as you maybe already know, gods didn't like to meddling in mortal problem that much, but they do interested in humans, that the reason they create this ring, to mingle with humans and live among them. Another sweat drop, honestly. He heard about this already. Some gods only mingle among humans to sat their own lust. For example, is Zeus, making child here and there, as demigods popped left and right cause of him. Noticed what's on the mind of his friend, Yaoi chuckled nervously, feeling embarrassed for the fellow gods. I'm sure they have their own reasons. Naruto wanted to believe the silverette of course, but how can he if Yaoi himself weren't even sure by his own words? Well, not my problem I guess. By no mean, Naruto didn't mean to be a rude person, but there have been just so much things happen to him in these months and he, currently still trying to catch up with them all, add the fact he needs to digest so many information about this world too. It's so tiring, mind you. Understanding he is, Yewa just smiled at his friend. Anyway, with that ring you shouldn't have problem to conceal your deity aura, though if I may suggest, you should try to find another aura concealing artifact. 'Cause yours is abyssal huge Naruto. Naruto only sweat drop at his friend's words, seriously. Sure, he knew that his chakra is abysmal, but surely it's not that huge right? Yes it is. Come a dryly respond from the god of Bible after he decipher the boy expression. PFF'd. The two just laughed together after that, and then chatting like always, not caring for any war that the three sides have made for the moment. XXXXXXXX break XXXXXXXX. Underworld. Most people would mistake it for hell, however, it was far from the truth. Well, not that far off though. The sky itself is dark, as if so late at night, thick black miasma coming and disperse from the dark ground, as if it was a plague that cannot be cured by any mean. But despite the underworld look like this, there is a city in it, a rather grandeur city too if one may add. And in this city, group of human-like creature, but with bad wings attached to their back can be seen, some talking with each other, some focus at the podium where one devil doing his speech, and some just stared at the ground. It was so close, within our grasp. The victory, so devils, don't let your sadness for your family dimmed away. Use it to fuel your anger to kill the angels and fallen angels. Our people are not so we. Damn them. Our focus this time is about one young-looking male, maybe around 20 from his appearance alone, and currently he is tightening his palms so hard that it turn white, his eyes glaring down at innocent ground. He hates them. He hates these angels and fallens that taking his family member from him, but the one he hated most is they who send his families in the first place. Call him childish, call him to put the blame on the wrong person, but he really hates his own kind generals and leaders, simply because they are the one that send his family to wars. It's same like his three best friends. One of these friends calmly pat his back, hearing his curse. I'm sorry for your loss, Serzek, we all going to miss Uncle Albert. Pang of hurt stabbed the male called Serzek at the remembrance that his uncle is not among the living anymore. He held strong though, or he is going to be seen as weak devil. I'm okay, thanks Ajuka. The green-haired male called Ajuka then took a glance at the girl beside him. Her cold and uncaring face rather unnerved him, but he knew she didn't mean any harm. They know each other since kids after all. I'm sorry for your aunt too, Serafal. Serafal, in question, just keep her uncaring and cold face, then glancing at her friend coldly. You don't need to, just tell us the plan you said yesterday. It was no secret that their parents is hoping for other children to pamper, as the four is too old to be pampered anymore. But, with this war, what kind older sibling want their younger born in the middle of this situation? None, and that's why, since few days ago the four began to scheme a plan to stop this war. Well, talking about four scheming teen, the fourth one is still standing behind Ajuka, eyes closed, though unnoticed because his hair's covering it. His snores can be heard by other three though, making Ajuka and Serzek deadpanned. Serafal is not so kind to this, as with magic, she conjures a puddle of cold water, then splash it directly on the fourth teen head. Fwaa! Spluttered water that comes inside his nose and mouth. The tall teen glared at Serafal with his bored-looking black orbs, which she returns with her monotone eyes. That was uncalled for, Serafal. You're sleeping, it's your fault, Falbium. But you can wake me up with another way. Ignoring the two that began to bicker with each other, Ajuka smiles at Serzek, sweat drop at the side of his head. Should we stop them? Nah. Serzek shrugged, knowing these two would come to their sense in time. Tell me your plan. Ajuka just nodded, eyes narrowed. I'm thinking we should ask. When he suspended his words, Ajuka already got the attention of his three friends. They leaned forward, except Serafal that just sharpened her ears. Ask who? Serzek is the one asking that, but Ajuka just looking around, then tilted his head to the road. Let's go to my house, we talk on the way. It was at this time, the three realized that many devils already gathering to hear the devil in the podium speech. So giving Ajuka some nods, they followed him to his house. Several minutes later, when the group didn't see that much high-class devils anymore, Ajuka whispered softly. The one I mean is the primordial, I think we should ask for his aid. His three friends didn't show it, but he knows their mind actually goes into disbelief for several seconds, and as a friend, he understands why. Primordial is an unknown entity, no information about him, her, not even the tiniest bit. But no matter how much he thinks, this is the only way to stop the war, or at least, protect their families. But Ajuka, from what I heard from them who survive, primordial or rather malicious. Ajuka glanced at Serzek that said it, his lips slightly tugged upward in an amusing manner. Primordial themselves never killed any of our people, except 2 weeks ago, and that's two is not that big of a loss, only a few hundreds. Why do you think that, Serzek? Scratched his cheek, the red-haired teen think deeply. It's because he or she don't like violence. He guessed correctly, as Ajuka nodded his head, smiling lightly. Yes, I think alliance can be made if my guess is right. The four have known each other for long, and the three know better than doubt their green-haired friend. But this is the first time they held small doubt for his plan. XXXXXX break XXXXXX. Naruto and Kagaya Hut sat cross-legged on top of a tree. Naruto exhaled a big sigh and opened his eyes that now can be seen have blue marking around it instead of orange. It's saddening that he didn't have contract with Toad anymore, as it forcefully teared when he arrived in this world, but at least he still can use his sage mode without any problem. And it's not weakened at all. This world is more complicated than I thought, he muttered while gazing at the sky, feeling content by seeing clouds hovering around. In Elemental Nation, using Sage mode with a bit of Kurama Chakra he can sense one nation without any problem. This powered up more when he and Kurama partnered up, and while it sounds simple, he is sure he can sense half of Earth at that time. Then it advanced again when he gains Haguroma chakra that represent light. Naruto is sure he already deity level at this time. The reason, because he is sure he can sense the full Earth at that time, though very blurry, which he now can guess because he lack human, believe, on him. Gaining Yin chakra of Hagoromo, then Ra chakra of 9 Biju. His need of human believe and pray is no more. His senses also are more sharper even without using sage mode. Q for inward cute dance here, and what he felt just now, make him realize how big this world is. Sure, that the only dimension that's surrounded by dimension gap is only one, but in this dimension, there are many sub-dimensions, which he is sure the palace for many gods. A soft grin slowly creeps into his lips, at the same time, some part of his blue orbs gain a malicious crimson color. Naru, dinner is ready. Snapped back into the real world, Naruto happily jumps off from the tree and began to run into his Kagaya house. Never noticed the change just now, as it also gone completely before Kagaya can notice. Wait for me. XXXXXX break XXXXXX. Tomorrow. This morning, Kagaya is happy. Her mood increased drastically onto the roof. No, make it into the sky. The reason of it is rather simple for normal people. Usually, Naruto would wake up before Kagaya to train his deity's power and his daily jutsu practices. But not today it seems, as Kagaya can see her Naru still asleep in her embrace, cutely snuggles at her clothed bosom. If this is an illusion, she doesn't want to awake. MNNNN. When her Naru letting out such a cute voice, Kagaya breath began to get ragged as she leans down, intent to wake him with a good morning kiss. It's going to be their first good morning kiss. Slowly, but surely her lips closing the distance with him, her eyes locked onto his cute sleeping face. Just as their lips almost touching each other, Kagaya eyes widening in disbelief. It's because she felt 4 signatures entered her and her Naru domain. Thought to ignore it crossed Kagaya mind for a second, and the goddess tempted to do just that. However, her Naru would disappoint in her if he ever knows. So with such heavy heart and gritted teeth, Kagaya gets off from the bed and turned into a blur, dashing to where she felt the signature is. Her 3 eyes glowing angrily, more so the third one, her Rinne Sharingan. These damn bats. XXXXXX break XXXXXX. Few hundred meters away, 4 teams can be seen. Sue, how did we start anyway? The redhead on the group said, both hands tangling behind his head as if he didn't just enter the red zone for 3 races. I don't know, nor do I, but the one without fear is not only Serzek it seem, as Fabian and Serafal look as calm as they can be. Notice their 4th member just keep silent. Serzek glanced to Ajuka and can see him tapped his chin gently, deep in thought. What's on his mind this time? Asking that inside his head, the redhead slung his arm on his friend's shoulder, breaking him from his thought. Yo Ajuka, what we are going to do now? This is your plan after all. At first, Ajuka looked forward with narrowed eyes. His response to Serzek, sound grave. We are going to kneel, and don't look up until Primordial told you so. So he just does that, leaving his friends looked at him with funny eyes. It was then they felt threatening aura that make their heart as if going to stop, coming at them at fast speed. No word said as the 3 following suit and kneel, their forehead pushed to the ground, face sweating heavily. That was first, is the thought that crossed Kagaya's mind when she already stood in front of the 4 devils, seeing them knelt at her like low creature they are. Some of her angs vanish, though only slightly. What's your business coming here, devils? The 4 shivered at her demonic tone, even the usually stoic Serafal. Gulping down his saliva from fear, Serzek decided to be the one said the reason they come here. Lord Primordial, we come here to ask for your help to put a stop on this useless war, because we already tired of losing family members. Silence is the answer they get from her. It seems they mistook her for her darling Naru. However, After digesting their request, Kagaya have rather complicated look on her face. Her Naru is lonely, his heart still held the sadness for cannot goes back to elemental nation. The only friends he has here is only God of the Bible, and much to her complain, as she wanted to be more her. Thinking for a full minute, she in the end made her decision. Raise your head, devils. Hope filled the four hearts as they do that and let a soft gasp at the tall beautiful goddess in front of them. Though they also shiver at her third eye that glaring at them, which at the same time pulsing with such power. Follow me. With a blur and shockwave, Kagaya then dashed to the way of her little hut with her love. Her decision is made, and she would give friends for him, and if these four decide to betray him, she could always kill them off, then console her Naru to get some. As for the four in question that didn't know the goddess' dark mind, they grinned like a fool, except Seraphal that only let out a tiny smile. Let's go, guys. Let us finish this war. Serzek shout as he let his devil wings spread and take off after the primordial, his three friends following suit with a chorus of, yes. XXXXXX break XXXXXX. Several minutes later, Naruto just sat under the shade of a big tree with closed eyes, feeling content when he felt nature embrace him gently like a parent would to their children. However, he felt something strange with his sense. Kagaya is blurring to this way, behind her is four devils, as if chasing her. Deepening his sage mode, Naruto can sense these five feelings. Kagaya is happy, but thinking of something sadistic, if her inner glee that he can feel can be used as proof. The four devils is also happy for something he cannot deduce. Oh well, it's not like sage mode can read minds anyway, only the feeling of living beings. At no times, Kagaya arrived in front of him, then smiling at him lovingly like usual. He felt the tiniest of blush crept to his cheeks. Naru, you awake. Her smile widens, as if forgetting about the devils that following her for a second. Would you like a tea? Naruto nodded, smiling thankfully at her while deactivating his sage mode. She's so kind. Sometimes he pondered on why she's cared so much for him and why she's always determined to pamper him. But oh well, it must be what people mean by true best friend. So Kagaya entered their little house to make him some tea, and at this very moment the four devils appeared and descend several meters away from him. They look confused at where the primordial gone to, at the same time they also wonder who is the otherworldly cute girl in front of them. The red head, which Naruto guessed is the leader by the look of respect the other three showed for him, then takes a step forward, and with polite smile asked him. Excuse me little girl, but this place is dangerous, are you lost? Blinked for several times, Naruto looked around, then looked at Serzek with Title's head cutely while pointing at himself. You talk to me Dadbeo. Slightly blushing, Seraphal is the one taken step forward this time, then leaned forward while trying to look cute as possible to create the image of big sister. Yes, you see, here is very dangerous and cute girl like this shouldn't be in this place. At the background, her three friends looked at Seraphal with strange eyes. Ajuka, you know what happened to our usual cold Seraphal? Serzek whispered, making the green-haired male tapped his chin for a bit, then answered his friend question. You know her, she expected a sister, but never got it, so seeing such a cute defenseless girl, I believe this is her suppressed, Onisama, attitude. While the three males devils talking about how cute Seraphal look right now, Naruto stared at the girl in question blankly, not knowing it only made him look cuter. Seraphal resist the urge to glomp the little girl like a professional. But, this is my house. Four devils blinked and God realized look. The girl must be human that the primordial taken care in kindness, and the reason she rampaging through all the war is to make sure this cute girl is safe and sound. So smile kindly, Seraphal sure the primordial is inside that little house she can see and decide to ask the cute girl. My bad, then can I ask whether we four can talk with the primordial? You know, the woman that takes care of you. This girl seen them descend from the sky and did not freak out, so she at least have knowledges about the supernatural. From blank, Naruto expression turned downright deadpanned. However, at this time, Kagaya comes out from inside the house, bringing a tray that holds a tea, which she placed beside the girl, like a servant. I think you four misunderstood. Holding the tray, Kagaya stood beside her Naru like a trained and protective maid. Primordial you want to meet is not me, but my Naru, which you also misunderstood for girl. He is a male, I assure you. She's not a lesbian, and not even a bisexual, so when she heard that her Naru called as girl by these devils, she's offended. She like cute and beautiful boy, not girl, and never will. As for the four devils, they have a disbelieves eyes and slack jaw, again, except Seraphal that only got slightly widen of eyes. They still scream as loud, though. What? I think I understand. Now inside the house, Naruto said while taking a sip of his tea, his eyes closed after heard the full story of the four. He got small respect for them at their determination and, screw anything, attitude to protect their families. That somehow reminds him of himself after all. So the four devils waited and waited in silence for several minutes. However, Naruto didn't seem going to say anything more. And from impatient, Serzek forces himself to speak, palm tightly clenched. See, can you help us? Naruto eyes opened, and it held such compassion as he stared at the four devils, but merely focused to Serzek for now. His tone, though, filled with nothing other than sadness. I can't, after all, who am I to stop it? He's not being pessimistic, it's just since he gained Sasuke Yin Chakra he can see more logic than before, wherever he usually just go punch something and make peace. It's also the time he got his pure white hair. It seemed with his Uzumaki blood which held such potent DNA of Hagoromo after he gains Hagoromo full chakra, he basically and literally is Otsutsuki right now. Kagaya said so herself, thus his pure white hairs. Why can't it just red? He doesn't know, but honestly, he felt a bit upset about that. As for Serzek, he clenched fist tighter until it white. Please, surely with your power it was possible. Naruto only shakes his head, and his next words pretty much make the four depressed. If power alone is enough to make peace, I wouldn't just sat here and do nothing. It was short, but he knows what the cute primordial mean. He's nobody to the three sides. Sure, he has power, and it can stop the war. But it's only delaying the inevitable. Peace would never come to the three sides if it's only like that. Grudge after all, run deep in one's soul and latched like a parasite. And in the end, suppressed people would rebel and start wars all over. It's never-ending cycle of hatred. However, Serzek didn't lose the light in his eyes as he steps back, then slammed his own head to the ground, much to his friend's shock. Please, anything is okay. I just don't want to come back home and seeing my mother crying in grief for losing a family anymore. Here he paused, body shaking in anger. I want to protect my family better. Some surprise can be seen on Naruto's eyes, followed that as a ghost of a smile. He's like this guy. How about you three? The Godeling asked to Serzek friends, and their response, much to his respect is serious nods, eyes filled with determination. Then, what did you four think of becoming my pupils? Four devils widened their eyes in shock, even Kagaya at the suddenness of that question from her Naru. Notice the four look, he scratched his cheeks with some blush, creating cute image. Well, I may not be able to stop the war, but I can give you strength to protect your family better. Smiling lightly, Naruto titled his head. So how is it? The devils can't help but got a mind numb, cannot think straight. They want to get help from Primordial, and even the tiniest help would be much appreciated. But they never thought that they are going to be asked whether they want to be his pupils. It's just mind-blowing to them. But still, fearing he is going to take back his words only because they take too long to answer, the four shouted at the same time. Yes, Naruto cutely giggles here, founding their antics as cute. He doesn't know if he does the right thing or not, nor the fact he knows the consequences for doing this. But one thing he sure as hell is. He rather goes bury himself and die than let the fire in these four devils dimmed.